Good morning and welcome to Power Up for Success. I'm your host, Dr. Marci Bryant, and I'm excited about this brand new day that the Lord has given me. I'm excited about the day that He's given you as well, because God has a wonderful word for all His children, regardless of where you are in life. God wants us to hear a beautiful word today, a great word that is going to take us from where we are and catapult us to where God wants us to go. I thank God for you this morning, and make no mistake, you are here today for a reason. Our subject today is facing our fears. We are going to have to learn how to face fear. You know, running away from things is not the way to grow in this life, and it's certainly not the Christian way to grow, because running only makes matters worse. Whatever you're running from, I guarantee you're going to meet it in the next place when you stop running. So, one, I'm reminded in the Bible with King Jehoshaphat, who was a very young king, and he'd had a very, very great victory for such a young king. And you'll find that in First Chronicles, I think in chapter 19, where Jehoshaphat had just had a great victory and he was feeling really good. But as you know, when we have victories, the enemy wants to come and steal that victory away from us. That's what the enemy wanted to do with Jehoshaphat. And so he had enemies to rise up against him. And just like he was on that high, suddenly he was on a low. What was he to do? Well, you can read the story for yourself, but what he did was go straight to God and reminded God of who he was, and reminded God that he was powerless without him and that he needed him to overcome. He didn't run away from his fear. He stood up to that fear, but after facing God. And that's what your word is on today. We want you to face God with whatever you might be going through, because anything that is broken in your life can be fixed. Anything that you have lost in your life can be replaced. Anytime you are going through something that is very, very negative, the answer is not running away. The answer is standing firm and trusting the God that you serve on a daily basis to bring you through. I'm excited about today, because I'm going to introduce to you for the very first time my new co-host. And she hails here from Austin, Texas, and I'm going to give you a few minutes to get to know her before we bring our guest on today. So with that, I'm going to introduce B. Baylor out of Austin, Texas. And I want you to meet her, because going forward, you are going to see her at least twice a month on the show as my co-host. So, B, I welcome you to the show.
I'm B. Baylor, all the way from Austin, Texas. I am the West Coast co-host for Power Up for Success. And we cannot wait to hang out with my guest as a high-performance coach, nonprofit expert. And between Dr. Marci and myself, we bring a well of wisdom and knowledge to Power Up for Success. And I would love to take this opportunity to bring my guest on. Thank you, Dr. Marci. You know who you are, and I appreciate you having me as your co-host.
All right, and I'm glad to have you. But before we bring on our guest for today, I would like you to just give the viewers a little bit of tidbit about your background. You're an amazing woman. You've done so much. You've accomplished so much. Just give them a taste of who you are and what you do on a daily basis.
Absolutely. I am the mother of 3, grandmother of 8. I am a business guru. I come to you guys as a retired nurse and loving my new life as a retired nurse. But first and foremost, I am a serial entrepreneur. I have over 50 nonprofits that are on the ground, 5 businesses doing over $1 million. And I'm loving my nomadic lifestyle as I am living my best life right now, working with women from all over the world globally, bringing them to the right table so they can live an amazing lifestyle that they so well deserve. I love being a business coach, a mentor,
Good.
and a friend to all of my boss ladies out there.
Oh, my, wonderful. That is absolutely amazing. And we certainly give God the glory for the life that you are now living. And so with that, what we're going to do is we are going to have you to introduce the guest. We're going to bring Delayna on right now, and we want you to introduce her, and then you and I will ask her pertinent questions with regard to how God is using her to be a blessing to so many people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Here we have this amazing, beautiful woman, Delayna Watkins, and we call her the wellness maven. Delayna Watkins is the executive director of the Women's Wellness Lounge, which is a multifaceted health and wellness organization that provides health products, wellness programs, personal health, and training to individuals or organizations that is seeking any type of help. She has a passion for helping women. And she is also a registered nurse, a leader, a boss lady. And let me tell you, she has received the Governor's Citation Award in her healthcare field. Delayna Watkins, you can definitely introduce yourself better than me. But I'm telling you, you are something to be reckoned with, and you will be a household name in this industry that you're doing. Welcome, Delayna Watkins.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Amen. And I receive it. Thank you.
Thank you for deciding to be on the show. And we can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Thank you both. I appreciate the opportunity.
Delayna, tell us a little bit more about the programs and what is the Women's Wellness Lounge and the Wellness Maven. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. Well, the Wellness Lounge helped me to morph into the Wellness Maven. So again, thank you both for this opportunity to be on the show. And B, you did an excellent job edifying me. I always smile when I hear some of the things, when you're passionate and you just do your work, you don't realize the recognition and sometimes the footprints that you're laying. And so the Wellness Lounge was developed so that I could bring women together so that we could not feel isolated, to be able to talk about the things that affect our mind, body, and spirit. And I created this space so that women can come together and get that information that they needed to create healthy legacies. And that morphed into the Women's Wellness Lounge.
Wow.
Is the Women's Wellness Lounge on the internet only, or do you have a physical brick and mortar place where they meet?
So we did have a brick and mortar space just before COVID. And so now we're actually getting ready to move into that, Dr. Marci. So currently we are online and looking to move back into the space. Why? Because I feel that, again, the energy is so much greater when women are able to physically be amongst other women who are experiencing the things that they themselves are encountering. And I've found that over the last decade that's more effective when you are able to actually sit and talk and feel and get the energy of other people that are experiencing those things that you are encountering. So right now we're currently online, but we are going into other spaces to provide the education and services.
Good.
Delayna, health disparities amongst women of color, and that's your target market. Can you elaborate a little bit about that?
Sure. As we know, the top three things that I focus on in the Women's Wellness Lounge has to deal with heart disease, diabetes, being obese, sedentary lifestyles, and then among the African American community, breast cancer. And so with focusing on those top three areas, health disparities in each of those areas, along with a lot of other chronic illnesses and diseases is unfortunate for the African American community. And it doesn't just stop with the social or as we call it, social determinants. There's a whole lot that really goes into it. And oftentimes as a nurse, being at the bedside decades ago, I realized that it wasn't for not only the lack of knowledge, but the lack of resources and the lack of us being able to talk with, relate to, and receive care from people that look like us, that understand a lot of times what it is that we face and why we may not be able to make the decisions that you can often see in a brochure or hear about on a television show. That in our neighborhood, some of those things are either not accessible or not our reality.
So amazing. Women's Wellness Lounge is a nonprofit 501c3 organization. So you literally are taking donations, Delayna, and can people go to and donate to your cause? Because it is right in my backyard. You are absolutely right. I've had some health disparities. I get it. The accessibility.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
the accessibility is huge.
Yes. Where can people donate? Where do they go to donate to your cause, to your organization?
Yes, thank you, B, for that opportunity to share that information. And it's the womenswellnesslounge.org. Womenswellnesslounge.org is where you can go to volunteer, to inquire about our programs and or to donate.
By the way, I've been to the womenswellness.org website. It's absolutely amazing. There is so much to offer on that website. And we're going to be coming up shortly on a break. And when we come back from that break, there is something that I want you to address that I saw on that website, and that's about sugar cravings. I must confess. There are times I just crave sugar.
Confess it now, Dr. Marci. Confess it.
Do it now.
That's right. So definitely, I'm going to be downloading that book. Definitely, I'm going to be following those situations. But before we take that break, I do want you to give us, in a nutshell, what kinds of things we can find on that website.
Sure. So absolutely, the sugar cravings is one of them. Understanding what we can do to lower our risk for heart disease. You can find that on the website as well. Healthy diets, recipes, ways in which to get better sleep. There are just so many tips on there. Whenever you find yourself menopause, I just created this.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. This sounds amazing. I'm so glad to have you here. So you're sharing this information with our viewers. So what we're going to do is take a break, and then we'll be back, and we're going to find out more information about this amazing woman and what she's doing to be a big help to women all over.
We here at Power Up would like to thank you for joining us each week as we bring words of love and friendship and fellowship and hope into your living rooms. So if we have been a blessing to you at all, would you please consider a donation in any amount payable to B as in building, V as in victorious, T as in temple, that's the headquarters ministry, or you can cash app us at $PowerUp4. Please include your address, your contact information, because we would like to be a blessing to you by sending you a copy of a book of poetry and prose entitled Glory in Poetry. This will just lighten your heart. It will give you words of inspiration and encouragement every day. Glory in Poetry will keep you focused on God, keep you focused on Christ, and allow you to know every day without a doubt that Jesus loves you. God bless you.
If you're just joining us, we have been speaking with Delayna Watkins, and she has an amazing, amazing story. And I thank God that she is doing all that she can in the wellness industry to help women like us. Delayna, I do want to ask you before you start sharing with what's on your website, would you please share with our viewing audience at least one major obstacle that you had to overcome in order to be where you are today doing what you're doing?
Ooh, that is a very good one, Dr. Marci. And I'll have to tell you, the obstacle that I had to overcome was the sick mindset. Let me just tell you that, again, without having the ability to know that as a nurse, and I'm sure B can relate to this, being a retired nurse, yes. We typically are you're taught to take care of people while they're sick. I had to overcome the mindset. And I know you talked about this earlier during the introduction of the show as well, about fear. So between fear and my mindset telling me that the world didn't need my gift, it didn't need what I had, just be a nurse, take care of those that are sick, that need you. Do not try to change the mindset, nor the behaviors, nor the thought patterns or process of others to get them through and or on the other side of sickness. And so I was, of course, as a nurse, taught to take care of others. So sick care was what we were taught rather than preventive care, teaching those around us. And again, our individuals that don't have access, that was the biggest fear. I probably delayed about 5 years, Dr. Marci. I delayed really walking into my gift about 5 years because I kept having fear, the fear of the success and the fear of the unknown of doing what I needed to do to impact the health of others.
Oh my God.
And so in overcoming, how did you overcome that? What specifically did someone prophesy over your life? Did you just make up your mind? Go to just what made you decide to make that shift?
There was two major things. One was absolutely the praying and prophesying about it. The other one was my mother, Sandra Queen, who was a nurse, and she would hear me talk about these things. Together, we actually would talk about them. And she said to me, baby girl, if that's what you feel that you need to do, go against the grain. If you feel that that's what you need to do to impact the people that you're seeing yourself, out here taking care of, then I want you to set the precedent, set the tone. If you impact the life of one person, you'll impact a generation. And so that's what I did. I ended up saying, okay, I had no idea who was going to show up at the very first meeting, Dr. Marci. I had no idea. I held a meeting. I put it out there and said to individuals, here's where I'll be. And if you're having a problem with your wellness, if you're tired of being sick, if you're, feeling like you don't have a connection, don't have a path to wellness, come here and listen to what I have to say. And that's what I did. And I prayed about it, took it to the altar that Sunday before. And then I showed up and I just decided, yes. And it was a packed room. September the 11th, 10 years ago, September the 11th, 2011.
Oh my gosh, Delayna. Delayna, can you imagine, can you picture your mom praying over you, like laying hands on? Can you even imagine that? I mean, oh my goodness. I can't even imagine that.
Yeah. It was a blessing. Again, sometimes others can see, and my grandmother used to say this, don't look down the road, not in the road, right? We look sometimes at what we're facing now rather than looking down the road. And that was what I was doing in that moment. I was looking at what was before me and not understanding that I was the answer and the solution to someone else's issue.
I thank God that you said on the inside of you, when your mother told you it's there, that's what you're being called to do. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. People need you. So facing the fear of what might happen, and it didn't happen at all. People actually showed up. They came and they needed what you had. So with that, now tell me a little tidbit about that sugar craving. Because I'm going to download it, I'm going to get it, but I want you to tell me that and then go wherever you want to go, ask her whatever you want, but I'm ready to listen to what's on this website.
Absolutely. And I'm going to start with something positive about those sugar cravings. Let me just tell you that 75 to 80% of it is not your fault. Okay.
Oh,
and now that I said that, now you want to lean in, right? Yeah. Now you want to lean in and listen.
Lean in, Pastor Marci.
Lean in and listen. So because of the artificial flavorings in the food and just kind of, a lot of the GMOs and what I call the front label lies of a lot of the foods that we consume, where it says, no sugar, low fat, no added fat, they take out one thing and replace it with another. Because of that and years of us consuming those, what I call nutrient dense foods or nutrient lacking foods, that has changed our taste buds, and it's changed the way our makeup in our bodies are wanting natural food. And so we need to go back to wanting to get our natural sweetness from fruits and vegetables rather than from anything that's in a box.
I see.
So, so you can lower your cravings, by replacing. So it's going to take a little while. So I always say, if you remove something, replace it with something that's more natural. And so the easy way to remember that, Dr. Marci, and your viewers, is this. If it was made and or manufactured in a plant and didn't grow from a plant, I want you to switch those two things around. I want you to seek more foods that is started out as growing as a plant and not manufactured in a plant.
Gotcha. And I certainly am going to do that. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, B, where do you want her to go from here?
So the sugar for a lot of people, because I want that sugar in my coffee. And every time I'm like, okay, I can replace it with honey or the raw sugar. But you know what, Delayna, you got to use like scoops and scoops of the raw sugar. So the craving just needs to go away, right?
Yes, right, exactly. So it's not the amount, it's still, that goes back to the same thing of changing your need and or want for the sweetness. So it's, even if you do use the honey or replace it with stevia, the raw sugar, if you're needing to use a ton of stevia to still get it to the sweetness or to the level of what you're attempting to do, then I always say, go back to what is it that you've eaten before? What are you lacking? Because oftentimes when we're wanting sugar, we're not getting enough whole foods. And so I always say, if you're starting your day off wanting some type of sugar all day long, your body is going to chase that sugar. So that's why we want to make sure that in the morning you start out with, what are you having with your coffee? Are you having a donut, a croissant, some type of bagel? Then no, start out making sure that you're getting a piece of natural fruit or some oatmeal or something like that.
I'm going to switch gears because you know who I am. I'm the heart girl. And I want you to elaborate a little bit on, because this is heart month and I'm post heart attack, post open heart surgery. Y'all know who I am and I take good care of my heart. Please, Delayna, elaborate on that for women.
Sure, absolutely. So heart talks and self-love, I always put those two things together because I feel like they really do go hand in hand. Of course, we know about the heart, the physical heart, but there's also the organ, the heart. But I need you all, as women, especially, to really embrace yourself and self-love. When you love yourself, you become more proactive about what it is that you're going to be about to do about your physical self. And a lot of that starts with being in tune. I always say the neck up, check up. Where are you emotionally and mentally? To be able to even make change or affect change in your life, you have to understand about those things that are stressing you out, the things that you are overcommitting to or overexerting yourself to. And as we know, heart disease is the number one silent killer, especially among women and African-American women. We rank high in that. And oftentimes it's because we're not doing the preventive things that we can change, that being high cholesterol, high blood pressure, your high blood glucose, which is your diabetes, being overweight and obese, smoking, our sedentary lifestyle. Those are what I call the killer 7. And we can impact those things. The things we can't impact are our age, our gender, and our race. So ladies, 7 things that we can do something about, the 3 things we can. And so I really charge you with understanding what that looks like and make those small changes that can lead to a greater impact as it relates to your heart health.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Thank you, Delayna. That is wonderful. Great audience.
Yes.
You guys listen. Dr. Marci, I'm going to hand it over to you, but this is some juicy stuff for a lot of women out there, women of color, women in general, because the heart, That's the biggest organ, and we need to care for it. Self-love, serve from the saucer, keep your cup full.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And this preventative approach is absolutely amazing. And I thank God that. Now, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, Delayna, how would they do it?
Absolutely. On all social media platforms, I am at Delayna Watkins, or you can just come on into the Women's Wellness Lounge. We're on all social platforms in there as well. We have talks several times throughout the week, and I keep it real stories, raw conversations, and I give you relevant wellness information. So it's real, raw, and relevant. So come on into the Women's Wellness Lounge on social media. We have Menopause Mondays, Wellness Wednesdays, and honey, whatever you ladies feel like is on your mind that you want to talk about, that you're facing a specific situation, Delayna Watkins, the Wellness Maven.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And what I'd like you to do in closing, if you would give the audience one closing bit of advice, what would it be? And Delayna, the same with you, maybe about a good 10 to 15 seconds each.
Thank you, Dr. Marci. Because of the past, I serve from my saucer. I don't have a big plate, and I keep my cup full. And I tell you, you should do the same, Delayna.
Okay.
Absolutely. My advice in closing is you deserve to live a healthy, happy, and prosperous life, and not to be bogged down with any type of sickness, illness, or disease. You deserve to live and create a healthy legacy.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank both of you for being here today. And I pray that you got something wonderful out of it. Face your fears, face life. Don't run away from whatever the challenges are, because remember, the God we serve is bigger than anything we face. God bless you. And I look forward to seeing you next week.
Learn it, live it, and then pass it on. Are you looking for a change? You can start the new year with a brand new career, one that will be fulfilling, engaging, and profitable. Hi, I'm Dr. Marci Bryant, and I delight in helping others reach their business and professional goals, especially in the areas of coaching and degree education. Our Power Up team of professionals will train you to become a certified coach in the field of your expertise, and then teach you how to market your brand. In just a few short weeks, you will be in business doing what you are passionate about. After all, when you do what you love, it's not work, it's service with gratifying results. The first 10 persons to register will receive 3 special bonuses valued at $1,000 for free.